a huge Tuesday night, and you're watching the 12th Horseshoe podcast. You could be watching Frozen Frenzy, ESPN, the NBA playoffs, or Game 7. But guess what? You're going to watch this because this is more fun. This is more better. We're watching the 12th Horseshoe podcast on Surge Sports. I have no idea what I'm saying or what I'm doing. But either way, this sounds fun to do anyways. Welcome to the 12th Horseshoe podcast on Surge Sports. Wasn't fully prepared on an intro. But anyways, welcome back everyone to the 12th Horseshoe podcast on Surge Sports. Jack Rizzo, Elijah Weintraub. Happy Tuesday. We're going to break down week 7 of the National Football League. And it is going to be a lot more fun. And of course, happening right now is the NHL Frozen Frenzy over on ESPN Plus, ESPN2 at 8 o'clock. It's like their NHL Red Zone NFL style show. Can't wait to watch it all night. And also you have NBA kicking off tonight for those interested in the National Basketball Association. And also MLB baseball, Game 7, Phillies Diamondbacks, go Phillies. And,
Diamondbacks.
All right, we disagree once more. And hello again to Luke. Thank you for watching. Big night for NBA. I know you're a huge fan, as you got.
He's a big Russell Westbrook fan. I don't know. I actually don't know what team he's on, but I don't think he's playing tonight. Oh wait, no, he's on the. I don't even know what team he's on. But anyways,
NBA is happening.
Yeah.
Happy.
How are you?
Day.
You guys do? I'm doing good, man. Just frustrated that the Colts lost, but we'll get into that a little later. But thank you for being here. A lot of times. You are here a lot. Clippers. Oh yeah, that's right. He is on Clippers and tomorrow. Okay. Got it.
All right. Well, let's get into the funness that we all love of the 12th Horseshoe podcast. We have 13 games that happened this weekend, all pretty bad upsets and not that great of games as we expect. Jack went 3-10 this week. He did not have a good week. I went 5-8. Also did not have a good week.
It was a rough week for us.
It was a rough week. Jack went 1-2 on LSU. He got the upset right.
My first of the year.
Survivor. And I went 0-3 because I am 0-3. But we have more chances next week to come, and we also have the Thursday night football game to predict. So let's not waste any more time. Let's get underway. And Colts are robbed. I agree with that. But coaching, we'll get to that later on. Thank you for the comment. All right. Well, to start off, we already recapped the Jaguars.
Wait, hang on. That's my sister.
Yes. Hello.
Yeah, that's right, Abby. The Colts were robbed, and you don't
watch robbed.
But you know that though, and I'm glad you do. I've taught you well. All right, go ahead, Eli.
All right, back to the show. The Jaguars played the Saints. We talked about that game last week. The final score of that game, 31-24. However, last minute news, the Saints wide receiver Chris Olave has been arrested.
Olave
for going over the speed limit of 35 miles per hour. So he'll be missing a few games, clearly.
Yikes.
Don't go over the speed limit and drive safely, kids. And the next game that we'll start off first is I'm going to go off script. We'll talk about the Colts. Browns-Colts, 39-38. By far the game of the week. Our game of the week was originally the Dolphins game. That was not fun to watch at all. But I think the game of the week by far was the Browns-Colts game. Excellent game all around. What I could say is the Browns played excellent. The refs were horrible. There is no question. Everybody can argue about that. There is no question. However, I do believe the Colts played a great game. Timeouts, I believe, was an issue that the Colts made a mistake on. I think they took the timeouts too early and should have saved them for later on and gave themselves more chances. Let the touchdown happen when they had 40 seconds left and had plenty of time to score. Even if they lost the ball, they would have gotten it back to give back to the Browns. They could have still used their 3 timeouts if they still had it, but wrong coaching decisions there. But it's okay. I think that was one of the best Colts games and closest ones that I think I've watched this season by far. A huge win for the Browns. Colts played a really close game. Again, refs messed it up again, but the timeouts were also an issue. We'll get to Jack's thoughts real quickly. Before we get to Jack, let me remind you that he will have a full Colts breakdown and ahead of next week's matchup versus the Saints on the Horseshoe Show tomorrow, 7 p.m. Eastern, right here on Surge Sports. Jack, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I'll get to just a second. Luke said Baltimore on top. Well, they still lost to the Colts, but I mean they did look pretty good on Sunday. We'll get to that in just a minute. Yeah, I thought you brought up a great point about the timeouts. This is something I was questioning when watching the game as well, especially when we got down to the end. I don't think we should use the timeout on the 2-point conversion. I was okay with the first timeout, but we should have had. I would have liked to have 2 timeouts. Granted, we only had 15 seconds left to do much, so I don't really know if it would have helped us anyways. And Gardner Minshew didn't do anything to help. The refs, as we know, were horrible. I could go on for 5 hours about how bad they were and how they screwed up this game for the Colts. I know the Colts, they did make several mistakes in this game, but still, the refs had 2 ridiculous penalties on them. The first one, which took the Colts had forced a fumble on PJ Walker and recovered it, which would have iced the game, but the refs called it illegal contact on the Colts, even though Amari Cooper dragged down the Colts corner. And even though the Colts corner got dragged down and didn't do anything, they called him for the penalty, which made no sense. And then that same corner got called for a pass interference penalty like 2 plays later on a throw, which wasn't even, again, pass interference cannot be called unless a ball is deemed catchable. And this ball was about 15 yards out of the back of the end zone. Not even Manu Ball would be catching that.
Absolutely.
So 2 ridiculous penalties. I know the Colts did make quite a few mistakes, but again, the refs took this win right out of their hands. It's an unfortunate loss for the Colts. I think the refs need to be held accountable for what they do because they don't get held accountable. They're just allowed to keep their jobs. I think one of the issues. Hang on, I'm sorry. I think one of the issues is that we have to understand that this is not their full-time job. These refs work the jobs, like full-time jobs that they don't work in the NFL full-time. This needs to be their full-time jobs. They can do a better job of reffing these games because they are doing a horrible job. This has been one of the worst years for the refs in the NFL. And this week in particular, the Colts were the only team that got robbed, and I'll get to that a little bit later. But Eli, go ahead about your point about Pat McAfee.
Pat McAfee believes that Gene Steratore should be just the guy reviewing in New York instead, and let him do all the calls. And he believes that he should be the right hand man to make the decisions, that he does know a thing or two. I agree with that part. But
I agree too. I think there should be like a replay judge up at the top, who could like reverse. That's like one thing I do like about the XFL that they have is that they have a judge. Ref should be fine for every. I would absolutely love to do that, especially if NFL players get fined for throwing the peace sign. Which again, like what problem is there with that? Michael Penn.
Hey, guess what? I'm gonna use the quote that you use. I bet they could pay in the cash.
Exactly. Yeah. Fine the refs like $50,000. NFL players get fined $25,000 for celebrating scoring a touchdown, and these refs just get to keep their job and do a horrible job. But
yeah,
I would want to give credit to the Browns, especially Myles Garrett, who had maybe the best game of his career: 2 sacks, 2 forced fumbles, pass defended, and a blocked field goal. I mean, he had a ridiculous game. He carried that team on his back. And I will say though, for the Colts, it was very impressive that they scored 38 points on the NFL's best defense. So It's a tough loss for the Colts. And by the way, the Colts are the only team in the NFL in 2023 who has scored at least 20 points in every single game this year.
That is true.
Colts are the only team. So 3-4, but they've shown a lot of promise, and they're going to continue to show a lot of promise this year. And you know what? It's only week 7, so they're just going to move past this loss, and I think they're going to bounce back, hopefully next week against the Saints.
We both picked the Colts. We were both wrong about that pick. I had them for upset as well. Yeah, great points there for Jack. Again, his show airs tomorrow, the Horseshoe Show. All about Colts tomorrow, 7 Eastern, Search Sports. Go check it out. Ravens over Colts, 38-6 for Luke. I thought the Lions were horrible, but yet I still believe that they can still come out on top. They played sloppy this Sunday, but I think they could definitely come back win. Ravens played great. Not much more to say, but they're still on fire. They know what they're doing. And Lions, Marvin Jones Jr. steps away from his team due to personal issues. That was the other breaking news earlier to this week. And yeah, I think the Ravens played great. And I don't know how much more I could add, but the Ravens are good.
Yeah, we both got this pick wrong, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Honestly, though, this can sound crazy, but it's not the worst thing for the Lions to happen because they just got a good humbling experience. They got humbled. They're not as good as they probably think they are, but
like the 49ers and Eagles.
I think they're gonna bounce back and be just okay. They're gonna learn from this. The Ravens are a really good team. They're a little inconsistent, but when they are locked in, they're one of the best in the AFC. They showed that this week. The Ravens are now 5-2. They've won 3 of their last 4. I think the Ravens are going to start to head upwards. I still don't know if they're going to win this division. This is a very competitive division. Every team in that division is now 500 or better. So it should be a fun division. Lions, I think they're going to be just okay. I know a 32-point loss doesn't look great, but every good team has a stinker every single year. Ravens, the Ravens lost to the Colts a couple weeks ago. And the the 49ers have looked bad the last 2 weeks. But again, all these teams are going to end up, the Eagles against the Jets last week, all these teams are going to be just fine. They're all going to be playoff teams. So just got to take this loss with a grain of salt, and the Lions should be just fine to me.
All right. Next game on the list is Bears Raiders. I got the pick right. Jack got it wrong. Final score of that game was 30-12. The Bears played great games. Definitely a lot more games in the win column sooner or later. Good run ahead of them. Difficult run for the Raiders. They clearly cannot win without Jimmy G. That is the bottom line. And not much more to say, but it was an interesting game. But Bears Raiders, folks.
Yeah, how about the kid Tyson Badgett, his first NFL start, looked really sharp out there, about 160 yards passing. I think he had 1 or 2 touchdowns, I don't remember, but their running back, Deontay Foreman, had all 3 touchdowns for the Bears. Defense played well. The Bears have looked really, really solid the last few weeks, and honestly, if Justin Fields didn't get hurt last week, they probably would be 3-4.
Right.
And at 2-4, they're not out of it just yet. It's at 2-5. I'm sorry. I mean, they're technically not out of it just yet. They have a long hill to climb though, but the schedule for the Bears is not that bad. They play the Chargers this week on Sunday night, which I think is a winnable game for them. So we'll see where the Bears go from here. But I like the way though that this team has played. Yeah, the Raiders they can't do anything without Jimmy G. I mean, I don't know why they're starting Brian Hoyer, who's like 48 years old at this point. I should be starting their rookie Aiden O'Connell. They used like a 4th or 5th round pick. I don't know why they're not using him. But good win for the Bears, 2-5, nice win for them. And I think they're going to start to show some promise here in the second half of the season. Right. And we'll see if the Raiders, Jimmy G's got to get healthy, because when he is, the Raiders are a solid team, not a great team, but when he's hurt, they are just bad.
Yeah. All right, let's go into real quick the NFL standings. 6-1 are the Chiefs and the Eagles. 5-2, Ravens, Lions, Jaguars, Dolphins, 49ers. 4-2, Browns, Cowboys, Steelers, Seahawks. 4-3, Falcons, Bills. 3-3, Bengals, Texans, Jets, Buccaneers. 3-4, Colts, Raiders, Rams, Saints, Commanders, Vikings. 2-4, Packers, Chargers, Titans. 2-5, Bears, Broncos, Patriots, Giants. 1-6, Cardinals, and the 0-6 Panthers. Next game on the list is going to be the Patriots over Bills. A very surprise win for the Patriots. A very good game, and clearly the Buffalo Bills cannot win in a divisional matchup when it's the Jets or the Patriots. And a little disappointing for Buffalo, and the Patriots had a huge victory, and that was the 300th regular season win for Bill Belichick under a head coach for the New England Patriots and just in general. So congrats to him, and that was a great game.
Yeah, what an upset for the Patriots. And man, the Bills have been maybe the most frustrating team to watch. I said the Ravens last year the most frustrating. Take that back. It's this Buffalo Bills team that we all thought would be a Super Bowl contender. The last 3 weeks for Buffalo have been actually last 4 weeks. Last 3 weeks have been very rough for them. Losing to Jacksonville and London, should have lost to the Giants on Sunday night last week, and now lost to the 1-5 Patriots. I just don't understand it. The Bills, they need to wake up. They have to wake up. The Dolphins, I mean, they're fortunate that they got a loss from the Dolphins, but the Bills don't start to put their foot on the gas, they're going to get left behind in a really loaded AFC. Josh Allen, the offense has to play better. Bills have to be more clutch, and this was certainly a frustrating loss for them. It's time they have got to bounce back and turn it around quickly on a short week against the Bucs on Thursday night.
Right. Yeah, huge one. And now the next game on the list. Oh, by the way, that was the Raiders Bears. Excuse me, my apologies. Bills Patriots. We both picked the Bills. We had them for both locks, and I had them for Survivor. We were both wrong, clearly. And now
my lock thing is over. Wow.
Yeah, sorry, Jack. Next one was the Commanders Giants. Giants win 14-7. Huge win saved by the bell for the Giants, as I call it. Huge victory there. Commanders could have still won it, and it was an all touchdown game. Final score 14-7. Yeah.
Yeah. Eli, what was that about you questioning my pick to change my pick from the Commanders to the Giants this week? Well, I got that pick right.
Whatever, Jack.
I'm actually glad I changed that, because that was the only game in the 1:00 slate that I picked right. So I'm very happy that I changed my pick there.
You should have kept Commanders.
No.
What your pick is? Your pick is.
No, not till we announce it on the show, Eli. Don't say that. Yeah, what a win for the Giants. What a day for their defense. The one touchdown they allowed came on a muff punt that set the Commanders up at like the 20-yard line. What a win for the New York Football Giants.
Yeah.
At home, they get back to 2-5. They're still very far out of the playoff race, but it's a nice win for the Giants. They'll keep their confidence up. They play the Jets this week, so they could win. I mean, I really like the Jets as a team this year, but the Commanders, again, have just been so inconsistent. Had a great win against the Falcons last week and then lose to the Giants. I don't really know how much longer Ron Rivera is going to keep his job. Riverboat Ron, I mean, he's a great story. Skin cancer, all that, but I just think it's time for him to go. I think the Commanders need to move on. There's just too much talent on both sides of the ball for it to be wasted like this. So, but a good win for the Giants and the Commanders, they got to try to get some consistency.
Yes. All right. Next game on the list, Falcons, Buccaneers. The Falcons were incredible. They beat the Buccaneers 16-13. The Falcons won. Bijan was a surprise absence. Nobody knew about it. And I'm surprised he's not fined yet, nor have the Atlanta Falcons, because, I had him in fantasy, and to not know that
you were going to say that
was annoying. So I believe they should be fined. If they could find guy for doing a peace sign, they should find something for not saying that he's out sick and not playing that game. But that's a different argument for a different day. The Buccaneers played a very close game. Have a TNF game on Thursday when they take on the Buccaneers. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, well, apparently, I don't know why the Falcons did not announce that Bijan Robinson wasn't feeling well. So sorry to all fantasy owners out there who had him and had to deal
I was one of them
this Sunday, but
yeah, point 30.
The South. This game ended up deciding first place thanks to the Saints' loss on Thursday night. The Falcons love to keep these games close. They can never win an easy game. All of their wins have come in really close games. Younghoe Koo, though, the hero with a game-winning field goal, he is one of the best in the league. Love Younghoe Koo. There's so much talent on the offense. I think Desmond Ridder needs to step it up a little bit. He's been playing kind of stinky this year. I think they need a better quarterback that can take him to new heights, but absolutely, the Falcons are in first place. And again, I said this was my pick to win the division. It's looking pretty good so far. So
I was right
for the team that they have looked this year. They play the Titans next week. We'll see if they can win that one. But kudos to the Falcons, and the Bucs are starting to fall back down to reality. They have now lost three of their last 4. I don't really know how many more wins this team's going to have this year. I think they'd be maybe like a 6 to 8 win team, but this is not the team that we saw, the first few weeks of the season. I think it was a little bit fluky that the Bucs won those first few games, but
absolutely.
Eli, the floor is yours.
All right, Steelers, Rams, 24-17. It was a one-of-a-kind game, I guess you could say. The Steelers played amazing. Rams, not fully there yet. And what a game. What are your thoughts?
The refs again. 4th and 1 for the Steelers. First down would have iced it. Stop would have given the Rams a chance. Kenny Pickett, sneak, didn't even get close to the marker from the TV, and we looked at several reviews. The refs gave them the first down. The play was not reviewable because the Rams had no timeouts, and that was the game. Yep. The refs not only cost the Colts a win, they cost the Rams a win as well.
No, they didn't. Whatever.
So the Colts, so now
either way, the challenge was wrong. So
there was no they couldn't challenge because they had no timeouts.
In the earlier, they had a challenge. They were wrong.
Who had a challenge? Nobody had a challenge.
I believe it was Rams. They lost the timeout.
Yeah, but still, they should have. Still, it should have been a booth review. They're allowed to do booth reviews, and that play. I don't know how they marked the first down to begin with, but the refs, the Steelers and the Browns, obviously paid the refs to help them win this Sunday. So sorry, Rams fans. Colts fan here, sympathizing with you guys. I'll talk about the Dolphins in a minute, also getting screwed by the refs. But Steelers, Matt Canada is still awful as an offensive coordinator. I mean, Kenny Pickett's a better play caller than him, and he's the freaking quarterback. But the Steelers' defense is one of the absolute best in the league. It's probably the best defense, I would say. They are 4-2 strictly because of their defense, and if they could have a half decent offense, they honestly could be undefeated. They are at least 5-1 because they did get blown out by the Rams. So, but the Steelers have been actually, well, I just think if they had a better offense, they'd be a lot better team. But they're a good team. TJ Watt is a top 3 or 2 defensive player in the league. There's a lot of good defenders up there right now, but TJ Watt's certainly one of them. He could single-handedly change a game just like his brother. I think TJ's a little faster though than his brother.
Yes.
But JJ I think is a little more athletic or whatever. But good win for the Steelers, and 4-2. They're playing well in the AFC, and my pick for them to be in the playoffs is looking pretty good right now.
All right. And we have an NHL update. Toronto leads over Washington 3-0 in the second period. Sabres over the Senators 2-0 in the first period. And the Devils have just started Each game is 15 minutes apart. Thought I'd throw that out there because
Where
I
the
am an
Devils
NHL
playing?
fan. They play in Montreal and then tomorrow home versus Washington, which I'll be at the game. Go Devils!
Go
Oh, I
Rangers.
knew you were going to say it.
Go
Seahawks over.
Montreal. Go Canadiens.
Whatever, Jack. Seahawks over Cardinals, 20-10. Not a good game for Geno Smith. Not happy at all.
No.
Offense struggled. Defense was very good. Now
Yeah.
they've shown improvement. I'm very proud about that. Cardinals kept it close in the beginning, but I think if Geno threw worse, then I think we would have lost that game by a lot more than we had predicted. Either way, a win is a win. Huge win for Seattle. Disappointment with Geno, but they will have the Browns next week, so I will definitely have a Seahawks victory in my book. But first, go ahead, talk about it. And I was right about the pick, and Jack was also right about that pick. That might have been
Yeah.
that was one of 3 that he got right. One of 5 I got right.
Well, first off, Eli, let me say that you're going to be excited because if I'm not mistaken, this week the Seahawks will be on TV here. I know they're playing
Are they?
Browns. Yeah, I believe so because the Giants and the Jets both play each other 1:00 on CBS. They usually don't like to show a Fox game at the time they're playing, and the Browns Seahawks is the only 4:00 game, so that'll probably be the Fox game on here. So you might be able to watch the Seahawks for the full game and not have to watch Red Zone.
I'm still watching Red Zone. I gotta talk about every other team in the NFL, but
yeah,
I will.
Have it on your phone or something,
Yeah,
and
have 2 TVs. I have one at the bottom, one at the top. All right, but we will check out 506 Sports tomorrow. 506 is the name.
Yeah, that's where to go to see a
506
map
Sports.
of
Yep.
your favorite
Yeah.
team and if they are on local TV or not. But about the Seahawks,
Thanks, 506 Sports.
the Seahawks are a very good team, but can I ask, why are their defense and offense never good at the same time? Whenever their offense is good, their defense is horrible, and whenever their defense is good, the offense plays horrible. The last 3 weeks for the Seahawks, the games
Because
against the
you
Giants,
can't have one
Bengals,
without the
and
other.
the game against the Giants, the Bengals, and the Cardinals, the offense looked bad in all 3 of those games, but the defense has played incredible. In weeks 2 and 3, in the wins against the Lions and Panthers, the offense looked great, and the defense was bad. And in week 1, both were bad. But week 1 is week 1. We'll forget about that.
Us Seahawks fans could never be happy with 2 things being good at the same time. Unfortunately, we have to deal with either one being bad or the other being good.
2 things.
This year,
two things relating to two. I think you're saying that because two things being good is to 2 Super Bowl rings being good, but unfortunately you threw one away, literally. Sorry to mention. I think I just triggered Eli, but he's giving me the death stare. All right, good. Seahawks are really.
And I kept it cool about the Colts too. I can't believe I kept it cool about the Colts. But next game on the list, Broncos Packers. That brings me to the happy spot. 19-17. Like, wait, it's not even the happy spot. The Broncos lost. The Broncos won. The Broncos
won. They won. Eli is so mad, guys. We did it.
The Broncos won. And no comment on that game. The Packers, I'm so disappointed.
The Broncos deserve to win.
The Broncos safety Kareem Jackson is now suspended 4 games due to unnecessary roughness.
Yeah, very good. I don't know if you saw the hit.
How did the Broncos win, folks? How?
Because the Packers are bad.
Clearly, I now notice that. Welcome to 2023, Jack.
Jordan Love is not the answer for the Packers at all. He has looked. Oh my God, he has been absolutely horrible. Russell Wilson is a top 5 quarterback in the league. Sean Payton is a top 5 coach, and the Broncos defense top 5 in the league. They are 2-5. They're gonna win now and go 12-5 and make it to the Super Bowl and win the Super Bowl over the Seattle Seahawks. No, just kidding. It might be the only Broncos win the rest of the season. But hey, the Broncos.
Can you move over the screen, please, and just focus?
Broncos won. They play the Chiefs next Sunday, which, wait a second, didn't they just play the Chiefs 2 weeks ago? But whatever, Broncos win. Eli's mad.
Yeah, that's going to be like Seattle.
It's a win for all of us. All right, next game before I trigger Eli more.
Okay, let me remind everybody, folks, the 7th.
We both got that pick wrong.
Yeah, well, who's going to pick the Broncos? By the way, here are your teams that were on bye this week that will be playing this week. The Panthers are home to take on the Texans, 1 p.m. on Fox. The Bengals take on the Sanford. By the way, Texans also had a bye, so the
Panthers are going to win. By the way,
no, they're not. No, you're not. No, you're not.
Winning.
Jack,
they're winning their first game of the season.
Jack. No, if they got 0-6, how are they going to beat this Texans team that is actually good? I'm taking
because it's a trap game.
Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert!
It's a trap game.
Travel
to
San Francisco, 4:25 p.m. on CBS.
Bengals are winning that one.
Cowboys are home to take on the Rams 1 p.m. on Fox. Jets are home, but they are the away team as they take on the Giants 1 p.m. on CBS. The Titans are home to take on the Falcons at 1 p.m. on CBS. Chiefs over Chargers 31-17. Let's just say without Taylor Swift, the Chiefs cannot do as good as they hope. And the Chargers played great, fell through. I don't think we need to spend too much time on this game because we all know it's the Chiefs. But Jack, go ahead.
Yeah, I think Brandon Staley's going to get fired by the Chargers within the next 2 or 3 weeks. I don't know. I mean, especially
And we were both right about the pick.
Yeah, if they lose to the Bears this week, I think that's probably going to be it for. By the way, let me mention that for Week 8, there are 0 NFL teams that are on byes.
That is correct.
All 32 teams are in action. We have a full slate of games. It's going to be awesome. 13 Sunday games, 9 in the 1 o'clock. 7 hours commercial-free football. Every team is in action this week. Week 8 and Week 12, both those 2 weeks, no teams are on byes. So 2 great weeks of football, a full week of football this week for the NFL. But as for the Chiefs, just stop showing Taylor Swift on the TV. At this point, she has more highlights.
But you have to, because that's your medicine. Everybody needs to take their medicine. Everybody needs to see Taylor Swift. Come on,
she needs to get booed at every stadium that she goes to because nobody wants to see her.
She's a billionaire. They ain't gonna boo her, but whatever.
Oh, next game. Wait a second. Then why did they boo her at MetLife Stadium when they showed her on the video board? Eli, we were there in person.
She wasn't at the game. Eagles over Dolphins, 31-17. Eagles over Dolphins, 31-17. Eagles played a great close game. Great jerseys. Still played sloppy. Dolphins kept it close. Struggled. Bad ref calls once again, but I don't think we need to keep talking about the refs. And also,
yes, we do. They are horrible.
NBC and Peacock average over 22.9 million views, most watched Sunday night game. And also, the Eagles are trading for Kevin Byard.
Byard, yeah.
Byard, there you go. From the Titans. They will also get some draft round picks. That was the major breaking news happening yesterday. And go ahead.
Why were there 0 penalties on the Eagles last week? They got away with holding several times. They got away with face masks and all that stuff. No penalties. And apparently, one of the back judges who missed several calls grew up near Philadelphia. I find that a little
born and raised.
The game could have been fixed. So I don't believe it. But I don't think the Dolphins would have won though if the refs would have favored them. But the Dolphins are pretenders as of now. They've been up on bad teams, and they got exposed by the Bills and the Eagles. I don't really know how much I believe in the Eagles because Jalen Hurts has not had a good year. Look at his numbers. He has not had a good year. I think he has as many interceptions as touchdowns. So
I agree.
Not a great year for him, but good bounce back win for the Eagles. And we'll see what happens next week as they take on who do they take on next week?
Eagles take on Commanders. And the Dolphins have the Patriots.
Commanders are going to win. I'm just kidding.
You're crazy, Jack. Vikings over 49ers, 22-17. Sloppy first quarter. Big performance on the defense. 49ers, man, a disappointment, but I think they could definitely win next week against the Bengals as they are home in San Francisco.
Not going to happen.
We'll have to find out Friday who you choose. All right. What are your thoughts real quick as we get ready for Thursday Night Football? Picks.
Great win for the
Vikings.
Sorry, great.
He's smalling his mitts.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Great win for
the Vikings.
Jordan Addison looked really good. So did TJ Hawkinson. Kirk Cousins. I don't know why people hate on this man. I think he's close to a top 5 quarterback. Vikings defense had one of their best games overall. 49ers. I think they're going to be just fine. I think Brock Purdy's going to get better. Right. But tough loss for them. But we'll see what happens in the future.
All right, the final. All right, let's get to Thursday Night Football on Prime Video, 8:15 p.m. It's going to be the Buccaneers taking on the Buffalo Bills. I am taking the Bills to win this one 17-14. I think the Bills can do it. And why not do it better on prime time? He muted himself. He is taking the Buffalo Bills to win. The score is TBD.
21-16 over the Bucs. I think the Bucs are going to really start to head downwards as the season goes on. I think the Bills are going to bounce back this week. I mean, they have to after losing to the Patriots. Give me the Bills in a tight defensive affair, 21-16, and they go to 5-3 on the season.
Well, that will do it for today's edition of the 12th Horseshoe podcast. Enjoy NHL Frozen Frenzy on ESPN Plus and ESPN2. Enjoy the NBA madness today and enjoy the Game 7 of the World Series playoffs.
Go Diamondbacks.
Go Phillies. Go
No.
Devils. And I'll be
Go
at the Devils game
Rangers. Go
tomorrow.
Colts.
But instead of watching me at the
Go
Devils game,
Canadians
watch
tonight. Go
Jack
go
tomorrow,
Jack.
the Horseshoe Show, 7 p.m. Eastern on Surge Sports. And join us back on Friday for Prediction Friday as we predict Week 8 in the National Football League and recap the Buccaneers-Bills game. That'll do it for us from Jack Rizzo, Elijah Weintraub. Signing off. Go Devils. Go Seahawks. Go Phillies.